Hello, this is Witty with another Starcraft 2 replay, and I figure I'm going to cover another one of those top replays. And look who's back in it, EGDeMusliM. He didn't win the last game, but can he win this one? Who knows? He's playing as the blue Terran. Let's see if he's got what it takes against Mr. EmpireViOlet, who I'll either call Empire or Violet. And he is the red Zerg, and we've got the awesome Zerg music in the background. At least I can hear that quite clearly. So both players are at the top of their game, and this was on another replay site. It had a lot of downloads, at least 400, so it's a reasonable amount considering how many replays go up on these sites and how frequently they do. And it had a nice high rating, so I figured I'd give it a go, and I want to see the Muslim win the game. So if he doesn't win this one, then I'm going to have to download another replay and cover that as well. There were some other ones that had some high ratings, but they were kind of linked. For example, they were like two-parters, where they're like IEM competitions and stuff like that, or tournaments, where there's more to one game. It's a best of three sort of thing. And I don't want to get into one of those games, because I'm only going to record one game today, and then miss out the other one, because that's not really fair on you. So I'll just cover this game, which I think is more of a one-off type of game. Now, I can't remember what this map is called, and I don't think there's anything that's going to tell me what it's called, so feel free to look it up yourself or remind me what it is in a comment or something like that. But I have no idea. Not off the top of my head. Because here comes the drone, and the SCV is straight on that drone. He's not going to have any of it. Is the drone going to turn himself into a Thespian geyser? I don't know. Maybe he's going to nick a bit of minerals. Cheeky drone. He didn't even get away with that. He just... What is he doing? Is he trying to stop the SCVs from mining? Maybe. It might have been his plan, because what happens is when you basically go to use a mineral field, you can only really have two SCVs or two drones or two whatever on it at any time. If he goes to mine it and one of the SCVs go for it, they might actually go to another one instead, because it's currently being mined, even if it's by an enemy player. So he's going to take away the Thespian geyser and be annoying, so the Marines are going to be dedicated to bringing that down for quite a while. He might even cancel it when it's almost built, we'll see. Meanwhile, a spawning port has just started for EmpireViOlet. Oh, he has cancelled it. Is he going to go for the Marine? He's going to go for a cheeky couple of hits there and then take the extractor again. Very impressive. I've not seen that done before. That might have been done quite a lot of times, but I've not seen it, and I'd like to start doing that. Because that Marine ain't going to get his health back unless he gets a medivac, which isn't going to happen for a while. So every little bit of advantage you can get is worth it. So it's a nice little bit of damage, nice little touch there. Before his drone went down, he decided to get a couple of cheeky hits there. Better than nothing, eh? Meanwhile, EmpireViOlet has pretty much secured his expansion. He's in a nice cross-distance map here. He's got lots of space, lots of distance. Really nice long straight here, though, for his Zerglings to run straight towards the enemy base, should they need to. EGDeMusliM is getting himself a bunker, so his Marines can comfortably defend this ramp and pretty much shoot at anything that tries to go around it. There's an Overlord that's coming around the back here, so he's going to obviously see the expansion going down. And what is this? This is a factory, isn't it? Oh, it's a factory. Look at that. How are both players doing for units? It looks like 19 drones, 19 SCVs, 8 Zerglings and 3 Marines. Relatively even at the moment, but it would be since it's still relatively very early on in the game. Zerglings are making their way to deMuslim's base. Meanwhile, it's probably going to be another 30 to 40 seconds before they get their speed boost, and they're going to be quickly denied, I think. He's either going to go for it and get in there and get straight past the bunker, which he has decided to do, which I think is the right thing to do, because those Zerglings are only going to get worse and worse as the game goes on, so may as well use them. And there you go. He's been very destructive there. He's just denied the command center that little bit extra time, which means it's going to take a bit longer before it goes into orbital command. I mean, these little touches. Yeah, he lost the Zerglings, but this is what Zerg do. They can throw units away. They can be reckless, providing they're useful with that recklessness, such as taking out a couple of SCVs and denying the orbital command. That's for as long as possible. I mean, little touches like that make those 8 Zerglings deaths worthwhile. So here comes a Hellion. In response, deMusliM is angry, and he's throwing a Hellion out onto the field. Probably not going to get away with much, but it's obviously going to be used for scouting purposes, just to see what Mr. EmpireViOlet is up to. Another hatchery going down, a smart decision, because there's no... Well, expansion is quite relatively close, but I guess he doesn't want to take the risk because he's worried about it getting basically picked on a lot by the Terran player, Mr. EGDeMusliM. So take the safer spot, stick to the 2 expansions, get droned up on those minerals and those extractors, use this 3rd hatchery for basically producing units, and maybe do some sort of mid-tier attack. Maybe, oh, looks like Overlord's pushed his luck, try to get a bit cheeky, get a bit of feasibility. Denied by EGDeMusliM. It's a nice touch though, because as a Zerg player you can't see what the hell's going on unless you sacrifice units pretty much. So sacrifice Zerglings, which ain't going to happen now because of the blockade, so then it's Overlords. And EGDeMusliM was doing a great job being on top of that. Basically keep an eye on your minimap, make sure you always see or spot things that are going down on the minimap as well as what's happening in front of your face on the screen. Because that way he stopped Mr. EmpireViOlet, if I check, from seeing any, well, he's seen something there, but he doesn't know what's attached to that tech lab. It could be a starport for all he knows. So he doesn't know too well as to what's going on with EGDeMusliM and what EGDeMuslim's game plan is. Because at relative minutes of time, you know, at certain points in the game, you want to just chuck an Overlord in if you're a Zerg player, just to see what's going on, because it's worth that 100 gold just to know what your enemy's doing, because it's so crucial. You can't play the game blinded the entire time, otherwise you're obviously taking a huge risk. So try and scout when you can. Looks like EGDeMusliM has got himself a nice number of harvesters. No, it's, sorry, not EmpireViOlet's got himself a nice number of harvesters, although obviously the resource count or income is relatively similar because of mules, pesky mules that still haven't been nerfed yet, and I guess never will. No, 51 harvesters for EmpireViOlet and 40 for EGDeMusliM. Unit wise we are looking at probably about 3 Hellions for EGDeMusliM and 19 Marines, 29 Zerglings and a couple of Banelings. So Banelings are able to be produced, which is going to make this interesting. Will EmpireViOlet decide to break in through this barricade? He's sneaking his Zerglings round. Are there any extra points where he can sneak into the base? There's only one access point with ground units by the looks of it, but he's going to spot EGDeMusliM trying to move out a little bit. Is EGDeMusliM trying to move out to a Selnaga town? Well, there's only one and it's in the middle of the map. So what is he doing with those Marines? Just sitting them on the outside so they can get a few pop shots and then run back into the base comfortably? I'm not sure. Both players look somewhat undecided on what action to take next, but I know that EmpireViOlet looks like he's really gearing up for a big push here with Banelings and the likes, because he's got so many Zerglings out in the field. Those Zerglings could have been drones, but that's why he's only got the 2 bases. He's not too fussed about this extra expansion just yet. He's getting one now, but it's obviously quite late into the game now. He could have had it quite a while ago. He's going to move on to Spire, which is a smart idea, because when you're getting this many Zerglings, the Banelings are somewhat Vespene heavy, but providing you're careful with them and you don't go nuts and turn all of your Zerglings into Banelings, you're still going to have a relatively high amount of Vespene gas left, which can be used for Mutalisks, because he's going to be fine for minerals, absolutely fine. He's going to get loads of minerals come in, but he's going to want to save that gas for the Mutas when that Spire has finished, which is still probably about another 40 seconds away. Meanwhile, there is a nice tank here by EGDeMusliM, a nice couple of tanks here. He looks like he's in a comfortable position to defend against any harsh pushes, but even so, if there's so many Zerglings jumping into that base when those supply depot and bunkers go down because of the Banelings, he could really do some horrible damage. Looks like this command center or orbital command is going to make his way over here. The beautiful thing about burrow is you can burrow your little Zergling here if you want and deny the expansion, or you can just leave your Zergling there and deny it, but it's more annoying if you burrow it, because they can't see where it is until they have to use a scan to get visibility. What are these Zerglings over here doing? They're waiting for something. I'm trying to keep an eye on the minimap because these top level players move fast, so I want to cover any action that happens. Oh, that was a beautiful explosion there. Couple of Banelings taking out about 4 or 5 Marines. Arguably not that worth it, but still funny to see. Now these couple of Banelings could unburrow here and go for that, but it's a bit late now because the tanks are going to get themselves into position. Oh, the Zerglings are moving in whilst the siege tanks haven't sieged up yet. These are brilliant moves by EmpireViOlet. Unfortunately, EGDeMusliM is now comfortably set up, but he has lost a couple of important units there. I don't know what these Zerglings are doing. Looks like they've given up. That was odd. Maybe that was a mishap on the EmpireViolet's behalf. He probably meant to press stop or something and then go macro, but he probably ended up pressing hold and then macroed the rest of his base. So they just didn't do anything. And here are all the mutors. Oh my goodness, that's 12 mutors. This can do some devastating damage. Those missile turrets won't stand much of a chance against a 12 mutor force as long as the mutors are careful and they micro efficiently. Any fours coming out? No, still looks like siege tanks. What's being produced? We're getting more upgrades for the Terran Marines. So 1-1 at the moment is going to be 2-1 soon. Medefacts being produced. More siege tanks, Marines. Loads of Zerglings for EmpireViolet. And he's getting himself the upgrade defense for these flying units, the Mutalisks. They're going to try and go in here. That's a nasty precision because he's getting hit by 2 missile turrets. Bit of hit, stop, move, micro. The Mutors are absolutely going to dominate this base. He's going to be a real pain in the neck for EGDeMusliM. So EGDeMusliM has 2 choices. Go back and fend it off, or get aggressive and get into the Zerg's face. By doing so, he might force his Mutalisks to get back, and it looks like he's going to do so. So it's going to be basically a base trade-off here. Does EmpireViolet want to leave his Mutalisks in the enemy base and do as much damage as he can, or does he want to rush them back and try and help defend against this push from EGDeMusliM? Loads of Marines coming in here. Risky move against quite a risky amount of Banelings on creep, where they're going to move even faster. But the tank should help to pick off the Banelings. And providing EGDeMusliM can do some nice unit control with his Marines and try and split them off into little groups as best as possible when the Banelings do run for them, then he's going to be okay. Now there goes the scan that's going to basically reveal all the drones that decided to burrow up. So EGDeMusliM knows about that. So if you see a load of drones disappear, make sure you scan and get visibility. Looks like EGDeMuslim's going to push in slightly further. He needs to bring back in these tanks. Where are the Mutalisks? Where are the Mutalisks? Are they all dead? No, they're over here. They're coming back. But is it going to be too late? There's so many Marines out. There's loads more Marines coming in, but not enough to deal with this many Banelings and Zerglings and Mutalisks that are also coming in back from the front as well. Oh, there's absolute devastation there. No chance there for those Marines. They pushed so fast. It looks like EmpireViolet should be alright here. Whilst EGDeMusliM still has a lot of Marines, I mean, he's still got enough Zerglings and Banelings to chuck them in, regardless of the tanks, provided he brings the Mutalisks in at the same time. So what is going to happen? He's getting ready for it. Wait for the timing attack. These Mutalisks are dancing around the back here. The reason why they do that is they're also stopping reinforcements for EGDeMusliM, because they're just basically patrolling the back of EGDeMuslim's army, where any other units of EGDeMuslim's would come into. Looks like EGDeMuslims decided to sidetrack slightly, but they're still going to get caught out by the... Oh, Mutalisks again slightly owned here by the Marines. It's kind of even, in fact, slightly in EGDeMuslim's favour, considering how expensive those Mutalisks are compared to Marines. I was expecting, like, all of these... Ah, that's why, because he was still converting into Banelings. He was to make a move whilst those Mutalisks were basically distracting EGDeMusliM. Both players have a number of expansions now, so they're alright for resources. They're going to replenish their troops. It looks like they're even on the drone count and the SCV count. Where it comes to units, EmpireViolet seems to have 16 Mutalisks, 38 Banelings. Where's the Zerglings? 77 of them against 55 Marines and 7 siege tanks and a few medefacts. Well, I'm no mathematician, but I think EmpireViolet has this, to be honest. But he seems to not want to make a move. And he needs to, because his expansions are going to get taken out slowly, and the longer he waits. He's got no creep here, so he's got no bonus movement for his Banelings when they get out there, except for maybe the upgrade he's probably already got on his Banelings. But I think EmpireViolet can comfortably move out. Maybe he thinks EGDeMusliM has more than he actually does. But he's from my point of view, he's okay to move out, providing he obviously throws in a few lings first to absorb the hits from the tanks, and then the Banelings can clear up the rest. Here we go. He's going to move out. I don't see how EGDeMusliM can take this out. Even with nice, careful positioning as he has, this is just too much of an overwhelming force from EmpireViolet. There's no match here. Oh, EGDeMuslim's backup has just arrived slightly too late there. It's going to try and do a bit of a clean-up, but I think that EmpireViolet is going to take this He's going to re-expand when he can. EGDeMusliM is trying to pick off little expansions, but it's not really enough because the devastating force of EmpireViOlet, which isn't that large, but is still numerous enough considering how much EGDeMuslim's lost, is probably going to help clean this up. Especially if these banelings get a good hit here against the Marines. It looks like they're not going to get it because of the creep positioning, and the stim pack from the Marines is going to deny the banelings from even trying to get close. It looks like EGDeMuslim's holding this off alright, actually. I must admit, I was in EmpireViolet's favour there, but now I'm starting to favour EGDeMuslim. Because if EGDeMuslim can hold EmpireViolet off for even longer than he can, for as long as he can, I think EGDeMuslim's got this, actually. Even though those mutilisks are a pain in the butt, EGDeMuslim still has a solid amount of bases with a solid amount of SCVs, whereas EmpireViolet is down to 36 drones now, and the 4 is out to take away these mutilisks. Lings are getting desperate, going for expansions, going for SCVs rather than the army, so it looks like EmpireViolet's not in a position to actually fight EGDeMuslim straight on, and is having to desperately try and take out SCVs in order to get even on the SCV count. But it's not going to happen. EGDeMuslim has got himself a nice, very solid army here, and he's just going to move in for the kill. I think EmpireViolet knows it now. There was a moment there, I think, where EmpireViolet had the win, or at least was in a position where he could have really done a lot of damage for minimal cost, but he kept waiting. But in all fairness, I can see the entire map, so I know what's going on. He doesn't. But if he had my visibility, I think he would have moved out a bit earlier and then tried to do something with that. Oh, Baneling explosions on those Marines. I don't know how many Banelings that was. Probably a couple. Only a couple sort of burrowed in there. But it looks like these mutilisks are going to be denied. They can't really do any real damage here. They can't even harass against that many Marines. It's not worth it. It's going to lose more cost than he's going to gain. EGDeMuslim really looks like he's got this at this point because EmpireViolet is out of resources. And he's only got a few Lings and Banelings left. He's going in for a last hit. Beautiful split there from EGDeMuslim. Mutilisks are coming in from the back, but they're not going to be enough. And there is the GG, and a well played. Indeed well played. It could have gone either way at some point, but EGDeMuslim, after he managed to buy himself enough time and distract EmpireViolet after his what seemed like a victory for EmpireViolet, but because of EGDeMuslim's solid economy versus EmpireViolet's recently deceased new expansions where the resources were, EGDeMuslim was able to buy himself enough time to replenish his army and finish off the rest of EmpireViolet. So thank you very much for watching. This has been Witty. Please subscribe, like and comment.